Do you struggle with delay ejaculation? You see, one of my biggest struggle when I was heavily involved in watching porn was delayed ejaculation. Never, ever, ever thought for once I'll be able to have sex in a natural way without imagining myself having sex with porn stars in my mind. I was highly concerned that could it be the end of my life? Would I be able to have a normal ejaculation? If this is your biggest concern, I want to tell you there is a way out. Don't lose hope. This episode is for you. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining another episode of Unfiltered Bedroom. I've always said this platform is the best. I mean, the best of the best. Here we empower men, we lift men up to live the best that God has in stock for them. Now remember, if you're embarking on recovery, I've always said, and I will always repeat myself, never embark on your recovery without a plan. Without a plan, all you are doing is a guesswork. And guesswork will never take you to your desired destination. So please, take time out to put a plan in place. Think about the plan. Ask yourself a question, what kind of habits, what kind of behavior will I like to cultivate? How do I go about cultivating the behavior? Is there any platform that can support me, like Rewire Your Mojo? Take time out to apply yourself to the things I'm teaching on this platform, and it will definitely transform your life. Anyway, today's episode, delay ejaculation. The very first time I started having this issue was I'll probably say 10 years into my porn consumption. Because when people are having argument with me as to Elisha, I don't think this is an issue. I don't think this issue of watching porn is a big issue at all. The very first thing I've always said is, okay, before we actually start having this conversation, could we understand how the brain functions? How does the human brain function? How does the human brain process images? Can the human brain differentiate between a mental picture and you actually carrying out the physical task? Say, for example, if you're imagining yourself having sex, can the brain differentiate that what you are imagining is not really what you are actually doing? How does the brain process this information? Most of the time, most of the guys are like, Elisha, they probably come back and say, Elisha, I might not like what you're saying. I might have a different point of view. But I come to the conclusion of how the brain works, and I can see your point of view. You see, when it comes to porn, because the moment I remember when I started off with porn, I said the kind of porn I used to watch back in the days was what I call vanilla porn. Maybe a guy and a girl. Then it migrated into group sex. They call it, I don't want to use the word, they call it gangbang or whatever it is. I wasn't proud of it. But then over time, I noticed the kind of taste of content I was going for were so extreme. It was so extreme. I remember a conversation I had with my younger brother. And he said, I came across some of your DVD. Back in the days, I had DVD. I used to stash my DVD away because DVD, then I'll download some from torrent. He said to me, some of the content you're watching are so disgusting that I felt like vomiting. And I said, but then even though I knew those content were not healthy, I struggled to stop myself because at that point in time, those content were the only content that could give me erection. Now I'm going somewhere. So when you look at those patterns and the things that were changing underneath my brain, those things then manifested in when I was having sex with my girlfriend, because I remember clearly anytime I'm having sex, at first it will look as if, wow, the guy is taking longer. But taking longer to come was not becoming having erection and losing erection, whereby I can't even ejaculate. Then I would just switch my mind into me having sex with some of my favorite porn actresses. Then my erection will kick back. then I can ejaculate. See, when I tell men this process that's taking place, well, actually, it can happen to me. And I say, look, I understand. Initially, when I started off at the age of 12, I was having fun. And if you look at the path, my roadmap, the path, it wasn't just something that suddenly occurred. It was a gradual process. The changes that was taking place in my brain were gradual. I said to people, the red flag you can look for to tell you whether the kind of content you are watching is changing is to look at the number of hours you spend searching for this content. If previously, give or take 5 minutes, you get a content, you ejaculate. And now those hours has now migrated to 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't need a soothsayer to tell me this. I can tell you the content you're watching is change. There's change. That's a fact. So when it comes to delayed ejaculation for me, when I got married, it wasn't an issue. What was an issue for me when I got married was a premature ejaculation and having performance sexual anxiety. Now, if you are having a delayed ejaculation, number one, if you're not using porn, then you want to reach out to your urologist to ask what could be the reason. Number two, I'm going to be very honest with you. If you're not sexually attracted to your partner, that could be a major issue. Men are visual. We like what we see. If what you see is not stimulating you, you will not have erection. It's just a fact. And number three, if you are using porn, my friend, you will have to put it aside. If you're using porn and you're having delayed ejaculation, it's not negotiable. You have to put it aside. So if you're asking Elisha, what then do I do? Join Rewire Your Mojo. Like this group of men, we all come together. I coach these men. And one thing I'll tell you about this group of men is this. I tell them, in this group, shame is not allowed. Whatever you're going through, I've been on that path. Sexual confusion, I've been on the path. Not sure of my sexuality, I've been on that path. Engaging in some behavior, I don't know the kind of behavior, but I've engaged in some behavior I'm not proud of. But people ask me, but what gives you this confidence to speak this way, Elisha? Very simple. My new identity in Christ. I'm a new creation in Christ Jesus. The old man that used to jack off to porn, that used to spend thousands of pounds on the street of Soho Square, sleeping around with prostitute, is long dead. I'm now a new creation. And that's why I say to the guy, you need to be intoxicated with your new creation reality. You need to be so conscious of it that you are walking in the reality of it. Because if you do not, you will find yourself being held back with this force of thoughts telling you, no. You are still an addict. You will never be free. Oh, your old life is who you are. So you need to be conscious of your new creation reality. That to me is my secret of being able to be bold and talk to you man to man without having any sense of shame or regret. Thank you once again for taking your time out to listen to this episode. If you've not been a subscriber, please do subscribe and leave us a feedback. It does help to boost the discoverability of this podcast.